All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Butts5, and I hope you guys are doing well. And in today's video, I just want to have a casual chat about the current state of the game for PUBG and also some major news regarding what people like to refer to as PUBG 2. And the reason why I use quotation marks there is because PUBG 2 means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I want to clarify in this video what that might actually look like if we see an updated version of the game at some point. So I'm going to be covering that a little bit later in the video, but I want to address the gameplay here and this new weather effect that we're seeing, and also the fact that we're 5 years into PUBG, and with this update 20.1, we are now on season 20 of the game, which is absolutely crazy. And for a lot of us that have been playing for this entire time, it's been definitely a long journey. So I want to cover all that stuff quickly. And I also want to mention, because there's so many people on YouTube that ask me questions and don't know, that I am streaming over on Twitch at twitch.tv/butts5 and friends every Monday through Friday. We have a lot of fun playing PUBG, and this is where this gameplay is from. And right here, we're going to see a funny glitch that happens sometimes on the dirt bike when you're doing stunts. Sometimes you get stuck in this, and I'm wearing my new Halloween outfit for the update, or for Halloween 2022, excuse me. So this is a new weather, in fact, that's not entirely new because this debuted when Destin launched, but this is a highly saturated, vibrant weather effect. And you can tell that when I went over to the quarry area there, the sun was actually so strong that I feel like if the circle went that way, I would not like to play over there because there'd be a lot of glare. But other than that area, it actually seems to make the game look a lot better. And everybody I was playing with really enjoyed this weather effect and seeing it on Erangel. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just a placebo, but it did make the game look like it was a better quality, or the graphics looked better with this weather effect. The players, the vehicles, the guns, the terrain looked a little bit more sharp. And it's interesting that that could happen just from a weather effect. But really, when you think about it, PUBG really has done a great job, in my opinion, of improving the game over the past 2 years. And if you think about PUBG as a whole, and you've been playing for a long time, you know what it's been like to see PUBG update the game. Sometimes it's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If you played through the rough times, you remember when it was 1 step forward and multiple step backs. Sometimes the updates had to be canceled or reverted. If you've been playing for that long, you might remember those times. It's actually kind of crazy. I forgot about when that happened, where they actually had to revert a few updates because they were that bad. And PUBG's gone through a lot of struggles for sure, but they've also gone through the growing pains of being a small company and moving into a full-fledged corporation owned by Krafton now, and broken into many different groups. There's PUBG Studios, there's other studios now making other games, and now PUBG is kind of into a fluid movement now, and is kind of like a steady flow of updates every single month, and they're not without bugs. PUBG's always going to have their bugs and stuff like that, but I feel like the flow has been happening pretty well, and over the past year or two, we've seen a lot of improvements to the game. Most of the maps have been remastered and improved. There's been visual changes, animation changes. The game just feels and looks a lot better. So I would be shocked if people came back to the game now and didn't see a major difference. Of course, I guess if you come from Call of Duty, you're always going to think the movement is more clunky, but the movement to me feels a lot better, and the game just looks a lot better just looking at this footage now. So I'm almost curious to see what people think about the game at this point. But PUBG is struggling a little bit because so many players have left the game, unfortunately. So I hope that eventually they'll come back into the game and check out all the stuff that PUBG has worked on. And before we get into the PUBG 2 news, I also want to bring up the fact that Destin was such an interesting update into PUBG, talking about 5 years. We're approaching 5 years of the game debuting on Xbox, and we already hit that on PC. The game for all those years has kind of just been in the past, in an imaginary time frame, maybe in the 70s or 80s or 90s, with not too many modern guns or scopes, or no heartbeat sensors or anything like that. And that changed with the launch of Destin, which sort of goes in line with New State Mobile, which was one of PUBG's newer products on mobile. And Destin is set in the future like New State. And this allowed PUBG to bring in many new items onto that map. We have the cop car, ice cream trucks, we have the heartbeat sensor, which is the blue chip detector, and many other features that kind of modernize that game. And I think that's an interesting strategy that PUBG said, we don't want to change the whole game and, hurt our core player base that want to play Erangel and Miramar with the old school strategies, but let's bring in a new map where we can experiment with new things. Some people don't like that, but I appreciate it because it allows PUBG to try new things with separate maps. So for me, I like that strategy, even if I'm not a fan of all of the decisions that they have made. And a lot of people assumed, or some people did through some leaks and information out there on the internet, that PUBG bringing Destin into the game and all that stuff was sort of PUBG updating the game into PUBG 2 because so many new things came in over the last year. But if you're not aware, PUBG is still on Unreal 4, and a lot of people are wondering, when is PUBG going to launch or talk about updating the game to Unreal 5? What's the information with that? PUBG has always been very silent about whether they're working on that. There was rumors that they were, and then it got canceled. So news has just been all over the place, and honestly, nothing's really ever been verified. But then I saw an interesting post on Twitter last week, and I had to check this out for myself. And there's actually some plot twist to this. So there was a post on the Krafton job career site for a developer for Unreal 5. And this isn't that crazy because they are making games for Unreal 5. PUBG and Krafton are working on many different games outside of the PUBG universe. So obviously some of those are going to be for Unreal 5. Except for this time, this job posting was under PUBG Studios and literally was talking about PUBG. So this post was in Korean, and I luckily translated this to English. And then today when I went to record this video, that job posting is gone. It's not on the website, no longer there. So I was pretty shocked. I spent some time trying to find it because I'm hoping I didn't make a mistake and miss it. But I searched for it, I was Googling it, and that listing again appears to be missing. But when it was originally posted, it did say that this was for an unannounced project. And then again, most of it was in Korean. You could see that in English, it said Unreal Engine 5. But then here is what I translated into. So in the beginning here, introducing our team and project. The project is listed as PUBG. And they say since the launch of its flagship title in 2017, PUBG has surpassed 70 million copies in total global sales, making it one of the best-selling and most chicken dinners. And we are looking for people to join us in our next project, which is still uncontested. So there's some translation issues here, but basically they're saying that PUBG sold 70 million copies. It's a huge game. There's been a ton of chicken dinners, and they are looking for people to work on a new game that is unannounced. But again, this is interesting because they're referencing PUBG right here, and this really sounds like this is PUBG 2. And that they are looking for developers to work in Unreal Engine 5 for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So that's what everyone's hoping for, is an Unreal 5 version of the game. And as I mentioned, PUBG's at 5 years. PUBG has a 10-year plan, and I think they even want to go, they have a 15, 20-year plan. And I'm mentioning this on stream that PUBG's really not a game where I think where they're looking to make a PUBG 2. If you look at games like League of Legends or even Apex Legends now, there's no League of Legends 2, and that game's been out for over 10 years. Apex Legends has been out for years. I don't think they have a plan of making an Apex Legends 2. So for me, there's no proof that PUBG is actually going to be working on PUBG 2. There could just be a moment in time where PUBG says, okay, we've made PUBG 2, but it's basically this version of the game just updated in Unreal 5, and they put down the servers for PUBG and then relaunch the game, the same game pretty much, but with Unreal Engine 5. That would be my hope for the game, so that the game just continues on. And at one point, that's sort of what League of Legends did. They were updating their client in the game, and there was the old version of League of Legends, which is like, for comparing to PUBG, was like the original Erangel. Then the client went down one day, they relaunched the client, and there was the Erangel remastered version of the game for comparison. All your skins, all of your information was still there. It was a slightly updated and different version of the game, but it was still, for all intents and purposes, the same game. So for me, my ideal situation would be that PUBG develops the same game, but an Unreal Engine 5 completely updated with a few new features. It looks way better. It plays way better. And then it just rolls into what PUBG is. Some people may want a PUBG 2, but I feel like that's just such a strange thing to do, because then you lose all of your stats, all of the skins that people have spent money on. And that's what's happening with Warzone 2 right now. And honestly, I feel like that really hurts the game. I want to try Warzone, but the fact that Warzone 2 is coming, you know, what means that there's not going to be a Warzone 3 soon? So why spend money in Warzone 2 when there could possibly be a Warzone 3? It just seems like a really bad strategy for me. And again, going back and grounding myself here and taking a step back, there's still no concrete evidence that a PUBG 2 or updated version of PUBG is being made. But this job posting is very, very interesting that they're literally talking about PUBG. It's under PUBG Studios, and they're looking for an Unreal 5 engine Unreal Engine 5 developers. But again, something to also take a step back is that if PUBG is just posting this now for an unannounced project, that means that they haven't even started, and this could, take years to develop. It could get canceled. Things could get changed. We don't have any information. So this is still wild speculation. But for me, seeing this posted on the actual website is a game changer because everything before has just been leaked. So I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. And as always, I'm Blitz5, and peace out.